Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Dad's Wild. I'm out here at my sawmill, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of modifications. I'm going to try changing up how the scale works, how it's set up, and I'll also show you some of the other different mods I've done so far. So let's get to it. So first up, one of the mods I've done is I have measured and marked my log stops so I can look down and see what height they are when I'm back here, make sure I don't hit them. Pretty handy, and it works pretty well, I'd say. Definitely worth a little bit of time to mark them up. You just measure down from the top, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, so on. So I can look down from where I'm standing and see whereabouts it's gonna be setting, and hopefully keep me from mowing them over. Then the second mod I've done is I've changed up the lubrication system a bit. I didn't like how the little thumb screw here, how you couldn't really shut it off quickly. So I ordered a little kit from Amazon. I think it's 3/8 tubing. And it came with a little ball valve. So that works pretty good. So I can just turn it on when I'm cutting, and then turn it off when I'm finished. Still have the flow adjustment up here still, but now I can shut it off completely at once. And then the second thing I've done to the lubrication is I've added a little bit of pipe off the end nipple here. It kept one, pulling up here, and it would take a while to get on the blade. So I added this little piece, and now it still wants to fall back a bit, but it's a little better at getting onto the blade sooner, so you don't have to wait for it to puddle up. And what I have been using for the scale is, I didn't really like how it was set up before. It would read like the change of cut instead of the absolute height off the log bunk. So I flipped around the pieces. I moved this rod and have it mounted up here now, and then I mounted the scale bar onto where the rod would mount. And so now I have it set to where it reads the height off the log bunks. So if you took a tape measure here, measured from the blade to the deck there, it would read 10.5 as it's set at now. And that's a little more intuitive to me in my mind, so I always know where the saw blade is in comparison to the bottom of the deck. But the sticker scale on here, it's not the best, so I bought a magnetic scale, and it's a quarter saw scale. So you can see it's got 8 quarters, 6 quarters, 5 quarters, and 4 quarters, and then also just a normal ruler. I tried it on here, but this isn't thick enough. The magnet's not quite strong enough to stay on there when the saw's running. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use a piece of angle iron, and I'm going to mount it up here in place of that, so the magnet sticks to it better, and so it's a little more rigid. So we'll get to that and we'll see how well it works. So I'm going to start by taking this off first. So if any of you wanted to try out this first mod I did, it's pretty simple. I got some extra hardware for this bracket up here, and I think I changed the orientation of it. And then there was where this mounted up here is where I put this bracket, and then, so that just hangs down. And then this one, I had to drill a hole here, and I kind of notched it out. It didn't quite fit for that second screw hole. And then it just kind of sits there. Use the same hardware for this. And it's been working pretty well. I still like to double check where it's actually cutting, because it's not the most accurate. But hopefully the next one, it'll make cutting a little better. I'll still have the absolute height, and then I can use the quarter scale to making boards a little quicker. So this is just a 2-inch, 1/8-inch angle iron, 48 inches long. I may cut it down after I see how it's going to work. But basically, my idea is to just mount it kind of right there, and then maybe if it wants to wobble a bit, I may get a support bracket to come off and mount somewhere here, so it's not wanting to flex a whole lot. So I'd like to use both holes, ideally. I do have just enough room to do that, but I'm gonna have to notch the bottom of this out so it will slide over more. So I'll get that marked out and cut it, and then we'll drill it. Alright, I got that notched out there. So this is how it's gonna fit on there. About like that. Well, here it is. I just have it mocked up. I'm gonna have to make a brace. I think it's a little wobbly. I don't want it wobbling as much. And then I probably am gonna have to do something with this rod here. Get it to move out so it's not rubbing on the face of the scale there all the time. But I like it. I think it looks pretty good. Well, here it is. I got it pretty much all finished. So I ended up putting a bracket here like I thought. It just came off of one of those open holes, spaced it out and hooked it up here. So it's nice and strong. So, and then I did a little adjusting with this bracket up here for the rod. I wallowed out these holes in the back here so it would slide forward more. And I moved these holes here up into that corner so it would show the whole scale. Before it was cutting off the 8/4 scale in this bar here. But I got it all lined up and it's reading the right height. So I'll have to put it to the test and See how well it works. I may paint it someday in the future just to keep it from rusting, but for now it'll work for testing. Well, let's give this thing a new scale a test. We got a small log on there. We'll see how well it works. Make sure it's tracking good still. Well, it's not the greatest weather right now, but we're still going to push through. So that one cut I did, you can hear me, I did it on the 1-inch scale, or the 4/4 scale. Right here. As you can see. So that sets me at for 1-inch boards. So I'm going to cut 1x4s out of this. So this dimension here I set 4 inches, and this one I'll make the slab cuts. So every time I make a cut, I'll lower it down to the next 4, and should make me 1-inch boards. And I think it leaves the 16th and compensates for a 16th inch kerf. So it should be like a little more than 1 1/16 boards. So let's give these a measure and see how well they turned out. That's like an inch, a little less than a 16th. About the same. About the same. That one's still locked down. A little bit less by like a 64th, but yeah, so they all came out pretty much the same thickness. Well, that worked pretty well, I'm gonna say. You know, all the boards came out pretty even. The rain has stopped for now, so is the hail, and the sun's starting to peek through. So I'm really happy with doing this upgrade. I think it's well worth the time and a little bit of money I invested in it. And I hope you guys learned some stuff from it. If you guys have any other questions about the little mods I've done, leave a comment and I'll try to answer if you have any questions. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.